of Brendan's sons. So when you're saying, well, you know, they got the information for the film from his sons, so they're gonna shout for hope for the dad. I get that. I'm not Brendan's son. I've seen him come and go. I've seen what was said, what wasn't said, in front of me. I've seen how the story goes, and I just didn't like. I didn't like the aftermath of what Naz has said about Brendan, because it was. I thought, you know what? When I saw you there with your sons, I thought, you're a dad now. You're a husband now. You're a responsible adult now. So you'll have grown up, and a lot of things we said and done when we were younger, we all do that kind of stuff. And then we have to grow up and think, you know, I dealt with that wrong. And maybe in my head, I'm thinking, he's probably looking at himself thinking, but we grow up, so you forgive. You might not forget, but you forgive. But then, you know, and Naz, to me, seems like he's become closer to his religion, to God, to Allah. And every time he does an interview, he praises Allah, and I get that. And he gives him enough credit. I get that. He talks about praying. I get that, being humble. But then that ego sneaked in. And then he started, when he kind of passively tried to say, yeah, I did this, I did wrong, but Brendan did this, and he really ripped on Brendan. That's not right. Brendan was never about all the money. Because I can give you many examples where Brendan's wife, Alma, used to give him £10 a day pocket money, because she knew when he'd go out, he'd give it away to the kids. He's a sucker for a sob story. I knew that if Brendan was all about the money, Brendan lived and died 26 Newman Road, across the road from the gym. Naz was in the corner shop up the road. Naz was the one that went and bought a big posh house the other side of town. Ferraris, McLarens, Aston Martins. Brendan never changed. Same van, same car, maybe one will go or two. So when Naz is trying to make out as though Brendan's all about money, I'm like, no, that's not right. Because you're giving people the wrong impression there. That's not right, man. What you're saying out there. I remember telling a story. I was European champion. I'd not boxed for like 13 months. And 3 or 4 months had gone by, and Brendan called me across to the house. And he said to me, sit down. Went to a little tin safe he had. And he put his hand in the safe. He gave me £250. He said, I'm going to give you this every week until you fight. Because I want you to stay in the gym. I don't want you to get distracted. Because your shot for the world title will come. I think it was about 13, 14 months. Every week, this man, every Friday, boom, £250, £250. But the deal was this. If you tell anybody, I want it all back. I went, all right. Anyway, time had gone by. I boxed 13, 14 months later, got paid, went back to him to give him the money. And he went, Johnny, that's not the deal. The deal was, if you tell anybody, I want it back. Does that sound like a man that's all about the money? I can tell you the story now because Brendan's passed, so I don't have to give you the money back. But what I'm saying is that the impression that I saw, that I've seen, that Naz is giving the public, you're giving him a backhanded compliment, but you're still slapping this man's credentials of who he is.